So I bought the Swytch Max Pro bike kit that everybody's raving about, that turns your normal bike into a electric bike. I'm going to have a go at installing it today. So come along and see my cock-ups, mess-ups and successes. So we're going to start with what's in the box. So let's have a look. So we've got the wheel. Very nice looking wheel it is too. I hope I bought the right size. Put that somewhere safe. We've got the mounting kit. That's a rugged thing. That is a rugged thing. The mounting kit with various spacers and attachments. Multi-size handlebars, I would imagine. We've got the charging plug. I would imagine this is probably just a standard 2-pin UK power adapter. And we've got the battery, which is a heavy one. Let's have a look. Oh, that's a beast. So that is a 36 DC, 7.65 amp, 275.4 watt. Wow, that is a beast. The Neo Max Plus. So that hopefully fits onto that. Makes you a little bit top heavy, maybe. Don't know. But anyway, we'll see. And then we've got... Oh, we got something extra. Oh no, that is just lots of... Oh yes, we did. We got the throttle twist. Could be quite useful. The little spacer, the connector, and a lot of cable ties, which I'm probably going to need. And then we've got, what else have we got here? We've got the charger. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. So this plugs straight into the battery. This is a 42 volt. So this is going to give it some quick charge, pretty quick. That's impressive. Very impressive. And then we've got, what have we got here? Oh, this is the pedal sensor. So this is a magnetic, I'm sure these were supposed to all be kept together. Magnetic pedal sensor with the cable in, like a magnet that just obviously sensors the pedals going round with the magnets in there, and then that will be strapped to your frame, which then picks up that sensor. So yeah, we'll give that a go. And then we've got last I think, is it the last thing? Yeah, the last thing we've got is some more cable ties, which I'm going to need, I'm sure. Oh, and we've also got the actual magnet, I think. No, I'm not sure what that is. That is the... Oh yes, that is the pedal assist sensor. So that's the actual sensor that straps onto the disc. That sensors when the pedal's in motion. Great. Okay, so let's get all this cleared away. The first task will be to start with the wheel. Now, my bike has disc brakes, and as you can see on here, there are no disc brakes. So, but it does come with the screws on the actual hub that you can attach a disc to. So we'll get the other wheel off, get them both on the table, and we'll give you give it a go. I've got the bike mounted on a bike frame. I bought the frame off Amazon, about 28 quid. Really, I just didn't want to be scrabbling around on the floor trying to keep the bike up. I just thought it'd be easier, and I could do it inside. Also, Alison is away today, So I thought, well, I'll bring all the parts into the kitchen or dining room because, well, she's not here. So first of all, let's take this front wheel off. It's a quick release, so it shouldn't be too difficult, he says. It's pretty stiff. This should slide straight out. Just be careful with those discs. Okay, great. So as you can see, I've got the wheel off. Now, if you can see, we have the disc on there, and we also have the Allen key screws here, which are pointed out on the hub that arrived with the Swytch kit. Those are the Allen key holes there. So we just need to make sure that we take this disc off, unscrew the Allen key, unscrew the Allen key screws on there, and then just swap that over. Just making note of the space between this gap here, this space. Here are the Allen key screws that I mentioned, and they will match up hopefully with those there. You also get a spacer and a washer. So of course, depending on how your disc sits on the wheel, whether that is fitting flush into that wheel or whether that is spaced out, then you're going to have to match that exactly on the Swytch hub. So let's get moving with that. As you can see, there's a spacer in there, just there. So I think we'll probably have to use the spacer on the Swytch hub just to make sure that gap matches. So an important thing to note, on the actual hub from Swytch, they are Allen keys. On the actual hub that I got with my bike, which is a giant mountain bike, they are actually the star type connections. Before you begin all of this, just check that you have the right connection that goes into that. An Allen key won't work, and a normal screwdriver, Phillips or slot screwdriver, won't work. You're going to need these star drill bits or screwdriver bits. Okay, let's get to work. Also, I forgot to say, the brake disc has to go on a certain way. There is an arrow on the brake disc that tells you the direction of the wheel. So there is the arrow. I don't know if you can see that. Try and bring it up to the camera. I'll try and bring the camera up to it. There's the arrow. So you need to make sure that you put it on in the same way. The hub also has a direction as well, which I will show you later. Now I would perhaps store this, so you know which side is facing out. I would perhaps store this that side up, so we don't get confused. I would put the screws back into this hub because obviously they match this hub, just so you know where they are. And if you want to swap it back over again, you can, just loosely. Okay, so we're done with that wheel. Obviously we need to take the tyre off and the inner tube off. So let's get down to doing that as well. As you can see, I'm using my chopping board just to stop the screw from damaging my dining room table. So let's let the tyre down. And let's take the valve off. And it's going to be pretty stiff. It's been on there a long time. It's not moved in a long time. I don't think I've had a puncher for a while. So I mean, you might need to get some tyre and irons out for this. Oh, that's come off. Yeah, there we go. The inner tube. We'll perhaps let that down a little more to make it easier to get it into the tyre. And let's get this tyre off. And that's come off pretty easy. So we can place that down out the way. And we can bring the switch hub into view. So let's get these out, these Allen screws. Finding the right Allen key is going to be a little tricky. Okay, so now I've got the appropriate drill bits. I will loosen these off before I get the drill around them. Now you can see this comes with a spacer ring, so we'll need to make sure that we just identify whether we're going to need that or not, and that will be by our lining up the discs in the wheel. So we'll perhaps put it on first, line it up, make sure that the actual disc fits in those pads dead center. If not, then we might have to use one of the other spacers provided. We should perhaps at this stage put the tyre on and the inner tube. Might make it easier, and then we're not messing around with it before we put the disc on. That's pretty easy to go on there. I'm going to need some tyre levers to get the other rim on, I think. Oh, I might even need the tyre levers to get this rim on. Oh, that's gone in pretty well. I've just pulled it all out again. Okay, so let's get the valve. Hopefully it comes with a valve hole. Yep, there we go. I remember doing this as a kid. Changing tyres in the backyard. Oh, wow, I used to love it. Messing about with your bike. It was nothing better. So we'll get that screwed on. Nice and tight. And we'll get that inner tube in, making sure you're not twisting it, which is what we always used to. That was the advice we were always given. Don't twist in your inner tube, or you'll end up with a puncture. Okay, so that's gone in nice and flat. Get the tyre on. Hope this tyre's seen better days. You're probably going to need tyre levers now. And if I don't, that's probably a bit of a worry because that means it's so stretched. Oh dear. Yes, that went on really well, so that's not good. Anyway, there we go. So all on. Now I'm going to try and put the tyre on. I've put a couple of screws in into the wheel, as you can see there, just to secure that disc. And I just want to check whether the alignment is right before I obviously put all the screws in. So let's give that a go. We have a slight issue. My forks, the flats they're called, are 9mm. The hub is 10mm. So we need to file that flat surface and that flat surface without damaging the hub. So I'll get my file out and let's get to work.
Right, so I just need to tighten up these nuts. Make sure they're nice and tight. And then I'm just going to screw in these brake disc screws or Allen key screws. I've got the spacers on, as you can see, and then there's some little, there's a spacer and then there's a washer. So you need to make sure that that all lines up and it's smooth and flush with that fork end. With the cable, obviously the bike's upside down. You've got to make sure that the cable is pointing down. The start of the cable is pointing down. Obviously because rain is going to drop off there. So the cable points down and then you curl it round and then you cable tie it back up the fork. Right, so I'm just going to get my bike back onto the rack. We've now got to do, obviously, the electrical part, and that all is on the frame and the handlebars. So I'm going to put the bike back on the frame and make a start. So obviously you saw the bike upside down. Now there's the cable hanging out of the bottom. So I want to create a loop so that the rein will drop off the bottom and then it'll bend round and then go up the fork. So I'm going to cable tie this to the fork, but I'm going to make sure that there's that loop in the bottom just to make sure that that has a rein drop off. Now I need to get this really tight. I mean, I don't want anything going anywhere. So I'm going to put a couple of cable ties in here just to make sure that doesn't go anywhere at all. Right, so now we've got the power pack holder. Pretty sturdy unit, looks good. It attaches to the handlebars. There are 4 Allen key attachments at the top and they will loop round my handlebars. So let's get them fitted. Now I've just brought the cable down from the power pack. I'm plugging it into the hub motor cable and I'm just cable tying that into the fork. Just leave a bit of space so that your fork can bounce. So there's a little bit of flexibility in that cable. So I'll put one there and I'll put one, attach it to the top of the forks and just make sure that that doesn't interfere with the turning circle. Make them nice and tight. So a quick recap of what we've done. We've filed down the wheel, attached it to the forks. The wheel is in the fork flat, the hub, the screw there, I filed that down. We've attached the disc and then we've made sure that the cable points down so water drips off the bottom, rain drips off the bottom. We've then attached it here and here, and then we've plugged it into the main power pack there, and then we've attached this one there and onto the forks just there. And then obviously that leads up to the power pack attachment there. So that's a quick recap. Now we're moving on to the pedal sensor, which is a disc that I will show you now. It fits around the pedal and that sensors the pedal activity, and then that kicks the motor in. The pedal sensor comes in 3 parts actually. That is a separate part. which I have just screwed on. Those two fit together, and then that goes around there, clipped together. You must have the working side, so it says on it working side, so that must be facing there, because we're going to put a magnet here which will sense the movement of the pedals going around. So that will just clip together like that, and then that will attach on to the pedal like this. You must make sure that this moves exactly even as it goes around. If it's slightly off, then you're not going to get a perfect contact with the magnet when it's attached. So that will go on like that. And then if we take the pedal sensor cable, and it won't go there, it won't go there, so mine's going to have to go on here. But as you can see, pedal sensor goes on there. There's the actual sensor. That will stick on there. It actually has two loops for Velcro clip, cable tie clips as well, which I'll use as well as the adhesive strip at the back. That will go on there like that, and then as the pedal turns, you can see that will match up to that. And then if it's off, as you can see, that's slightly off, it misses. So you've got to make sure that you've got this perfectly in the middle. And then you attach it with cable ties around there, and then that will sense the activity. And this is quite nice because it's got a little adjustable bit, so you can move that sensor in and out to make sure that it's really close to the sensor. The older ones didn't have that; they just had that strip. Now you've got this on there, which you can angle. Obviously, tighten that screw up, and then that angle will stay. There'll be no movement. So let's get to work on that. So once we've got that pedal aligner on, which took a lot of time, making sure that that actual line there was even, and it was even all the way around. That's quite an important thing, because you want the sensor to continually be touching those pads. So that was a little tricky. Now we're going to try and attach the sensor. As I said, it comes with an adhesive strip and two cable ties. So it's not going to go anywhere. You don't want it to go anywhere, because once that sensor breaks free, you haven't got power anymore. So I just need to double check that's continually touching it. So I've managed to attach that, obviously just bending these two screws to make sure that it's level and it appears. You can see, I don't know if you can actually see, let me try and zoom in a little there. So you can see the sensor there, and it kind of just misses that sensor fairly consistently, and then obviously you need to make sure that moves in a circle, matching your pedal movement, which it seems to be doing. I've stuck it on. I've put one Velcro strip on. I'll probably put another one on there, and then I'm just about to attach the cable up the frame, and then attach it to the power pack and give it a test. I'm just going to attach these additional Velcro strips, cable tie strips. You get hundreds, well, you get a lot of them. Okay, so all the cabling done. I need to snip off a few cable tie ends. Right, okay, time to get the battery. There you go, job done. So just to summarise, I changed the wheel, included the brake disc, added the mount, the battery mount and the pedal sensor. It took me about an hour and a half. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you could follow along with the video and have a go at it. It was easier than I thought. Good luck.